So, I'm going to be doing a review of another horror movie that has come to streaming. Now, as we all know, Prey was really damn good, like unexpectedly good. And there was another movie that I was not aware of that was happening. Like I heard rumblings that this was a movie that was coming out, but I didn't know it was coming directly to streaming. And it was basically a movie that I had, because I had no like major stake, but I was like, oh cool, I'll check it out. Like I'll give it a look. Like what's the worst that can happen, really? Like what like. And this is a Paramount production on their streaming site. The last time they had a Paramount horror movie directly streaming to them was Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which was fucking awful. It was so goddamn bad. It was so goddamn putrid. I fucking hated that movie with a goddamn passion. So I had no, like, when I heard this movie, I was like, alright, so we got the original team, but it's still like a Paramount production, direct to streaming movie. Let's see what happens. And that movie is the one I'm reviewing right now. As I've said, I do theatrical movies reviews on my Patreon. I do the streaming here on YouTube. And yeah, I'm gonna do a review of Orphan: First Kill, which is the prequel to the 2008 movie Orphan. So Orphan, you guys have probably seen the movie or at least heard of it, of the child horror movie where it's a kid, but it turns out to be a 30-year-old adult who's an escaped mental patient who's out of her goddamn mind. Takes a lot of elements from like Twilight Zone and The Good Son, that stuff like that. Like it's a lot of that. And this movie, I was like, okay, and I saw the trailer, and man, did the trailer look so basic. Like, okay, we already know Esther is, like, this is the family, for reference, this is the story of the family that died in the fire the year before Esther was adopted in the first movie. So this prequel movie was like, okay, so I'm not expecting much. And the trailer basically was like basic. Esther's doing it, like being creepy and also pretending to be because her real name's Lena. She's pretending to be. This is where she takes the name Esther and takes on that identity, and this leads to the fire that kills her family. Here's the thing, though. The trailer looked so basic. Like I was like, all right, I'm not expecting great things, and maybe I'll rake this movie through the coals, or maybe I'll get a few cheap kills. I was not expecting it to be good. It was good. It was actually a good... Now, to be fair, this movie is a streaming movie. This is a movie that was made directly for streaming, and the budget really fucking shows. Like, the budget straight up fucking shows that this movie was totally... It was totally 100% meant to be streaming, and the budget really... Especially at the end. Oh, good God. The end, like... It took me out of the goddamn movie for a hot minute. It really did take me out of the goddamn movie for a very hot second, where it literally, like, I was literally like, wow, that is some bad... Yep, this is where they started to run out of money. I was literally like, that scene was like, well, they fucking ran out of money here. Now, this movie lives and dies by the actress playing Esther, and trust me, she does a killer job. She does a phenomenal job, as she did last before. What surprises me is that this movie, in the original film, she was still a child. She was still 12 years old when they did that movie. In here, obviously, it's been several years, and the actress has grown up, and now she's a young adult. Well, rather than do, like, CGI, like, de-aging, they use just makeup and have, like, quick camera tricks to manipulate it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I like when, filming does that. Like, I don't mind, like, de-aging, but I imagine if they did de-aging on this budget, it'd really, like, either A, kill the whole fucking movie or look really bad. So it is nice to see, like, a director and a actress who can carry the movie, and also have a director and a special effects team that knows their limits, and while they do get stretched, they do work around it, like either using young kid actors or having the actress play Esther, like, kneeling down in scenes and looking up. because now she's like in her the actress is now in her 20s. So this movie, I don't know if I want to spoil it or not, because this movie, because you guys remember it when Orphan first came out, there was like that big the big shocking reveal that Esther wasn't a child at all. She was a woman in her 30s who had a hormonal disease that kept her body from physically aging. And that was the big shock that everyone talked about. Like, that was the big, oh my god, reveal. And this movie decided, you know what? We'll take that one step further. We will take that reveal and raise you. We will see your old, because just like you already showed the hat trick. Like, that's the thing, is like in the first movie, like, you showed the hat trick, and if you did a prequel, you'd literally be doing the same thing of like, there's something wrong with Esther and there's something we have to do about it, and it'd literally be the same fucking movie, and we know how this prequel. That's what I love and hate prequels simultaneously, because like prequels can give you story elements that you didn't see before and tell that story. But other times it's like we know the ending. Like, we know the full story and we know the end, and we know the plot. That's why the Thing, the 2011 Thing prequel was a lot left to be desired. It wasn't just the CGI, but like we knew the story and they did nothing to really like do more than that. And oh god, the CGI. Anyway, so prequel movies, especially in horror movies, are difficult to do. Not to say they're impossible to do. Like Mike Flanagan's Ouija prequel, that's really good. I really enjoyed that. Or the Annabelle creation movie, the prequel to that god awful Annabelle film, first Annabelle film. That's really good. So there are prequel horror movies that are really good, and the twist here made me like it happens halfway through the fucking movie. It legit happens halfway through the fucking movie that made me go, now I'm invested. Like, it's literally like that scene in Django Unchained. I was like, gentlemen, you had my interest. Now you have my attention, and it was. I really don't want to spoil it. Like, I really don't want to spoil how the twist happens and where it continues. Like, that's basically what it is. Is that it goes in a direction that no one saw coming. Like, I'm impressed on a budget like this, and how it goes and how the rest of the movie plays out is like, holy shit, this is something to behold. Like, this is something that even I didn't see coming, but when I look back, I'm like, I should have picked up on this, and this to fully like appreciate where this movie was going. Like, that's something impressive in and of itself, really. Like, I was very impressed. I wasn't even going to do a review on this movie. I was in no way going to do a review of the Orphan prequel, because I was like, I know people remember that movie and it's a good movie, but like, who's really gonna care? And I'm telling you guys now, if you have Paramount Plus, go check it out. The acting is phenomenal. The actress playing Esther, I wish I could remember her name. She carries this movie on her back as she did the first time around. This is a phenomenal film. I really loved it. I really enjoyed everything about this movie was just utterly fantastic. I fucking love this movie. I really fucking adore this movie. I think it is amazing. I think it's a very good. Now, again, it's nothing to write home about, but that twist I think really saves the movie from being generic, as well as, it adds a new element, because there's this moment where you feel kind of dirty. Like, there's this, without going, I really don't want to spoil it. You have to see it. This is one of those times where I'm not trying to spoil the movie for anyone, and I'm just like, you have to see it for yourself, that twist that happens halfway through the film. And it changes the dynamic and makes you feel like kind of dirty for liking where this film is going. Like, it makes you feel kind of wrong, and I like that. I really do like that. But yeah, also, there's some decent kills in here. There's the body count is a little higher than the first one, because I think the first one only had 3. But this one has a bigger body count, only slightly. and some of them are pretty brutal. Some of them are very like brutal, and I just enjoyed this movie, and I liked the first one, so it's nice to see a prequel movie with a work on a budget, even though it does kind of teeter on, oof, that was bad, that's clear green screen, or that's some bad CGI right there. It still manages to hold its own and carry its weight. If you have Paramount Plus and you liked the first movie, if you really dug Orphan the first time around, go check this out. This is totally worth it. I highly recommend Orphan First Kill. Definitely a movie I want to check out more of in the future. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Orphan First Kill? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know, and as always, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.